Fire. It's one of the nation's biggest problems, and combined with a water shortage, it has the potential for disaster. We talked to the country's Chief Fire Officer Isaac Silas and Akia Koya about the dangers and the ways to prevent them to your property and loved ones. With so many businesses ruined and lives destroyed already this year, we can all help prevent more. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time coming on to PNG Tonight.
Thank you, John.
Okay, we're into Christmas and New Year. It's a festive time. But fire doesn't discriminate. So what's the message out there for the people of Papua New Guinea about fire? I'll start off with you, Isaac, as Chief Fire Officer of the country.
Thank you, John. I guess the message for our people out there is that their safety starts from them. The fire service can only provide advice and guidance and respond, but ultimately the well-being of each of us, the well-being of our community depends very much on individual efforts.
Okay, your thoughts quickly. Akia?
We need to take ownership of safety, and that's what everyone in our country should be doing.
Okay. Well, look, Papua New Guinea is developing at quite a rapid pace, if I might add. What about fire services? Are we corresponding the level of development that's taking place in the country?
Yes. I think the major issue for us is that the pace of development has gone in hips and bound, and the development of the fire service itself, quite frankly, has been lagging.
Okay, and what about funding? Are you getting the assistance from the government as you should?
Well, development is corresponding, to funding. We can do so much with no funding, but we need funding to go that extra mile.
What about manpower and skills within that manpower you have?
And you need funding to actually recruit new people, new skill sets, and to get training organized so that we are dealing with with modern technologies that are being inbuilt into our into our society, and so we need training, and also we need equipment.
Okay.
So,
but some of the infrastructure in Port Moresby, particularly high rises, and you're getting that outside Port Moresby, in Mount Hagen. The higher they are, the difficult it is to put out a fire at the top floor. For you, it would be, wouldn't it?
It would be, yes, most definitely. The current resources we have in Port Moresby will not enable us to combat any situation above third floor from outside. It would mean that our firefighters would have to go into the building and go up the stairs to combat the situation.
It's quite a dangerous situation. The high rises are dangerous buildings when it comes to fire.
It would be, yes, most definitely.
And any thoughts, any recommendation to government on this?
We have put to government that there should be a review of the organization of the fire service, that we should look at the whole spectrum of issues, from manpower to training to equipment to our capabilities, basically. We put that to government, and the government wants us to look at a review. Cabinet has actually approved the review, but again, we are waiting funding for us to undertake the review. Personally, I think the review is a must.
We must have fire cannot wait for us. I mean, fire will happen, and we've just got to be prepared for it. Let me come to you, Akia. You met superintendent, if you will, of Port Moresby. Port Moresby is in a dry spell. What can you tell the viewers out there?
Currently we're facing the water levels are really low,
right,
and it's quite a big dry spell. So I'd like to discourage our people out there in NCD from lighting fires, even when they are cooking. It's the festive season, so when they open fires, they got to take every precautions.
Yes, yes. And recently we saw Maloro, that supermarket, go up in flames. Of course, couldn't save that, but you were working to save nearby buildings. Things like that, and other fires that have that have been in Port Moresby elsewhere. I mean, you're an investigator too. You investigate those. Your final reports, I mean, do they ever come out?
Yes, the reports do come out, and basically what the report highlights is the cause and origin, and it also helps, those data helps us to look at ways to prevent the similar fires in future, and also if the same product safety, if the same products are being causing fires, we need to get that information out and do a recall on those products.
Yes. Fires have occurred in Lae. Fires have occurred in Port Moresby and in Mount Hagen. Big cities, that's where the fires are. When they happen, obviously, there's a writing on the wall that says cities are vulnerable to fire. How do we prepare ourselves for that?
This should go back all the way to the design stage, the inception stage. When we build buildings, we should look at how the buildings are designed, the type of safety provisions that are made. The fire service here uses the Building Code of Australia and this would go back as far as maybe the last 20 years.
Is that being applied here today?
Yes. Now,
it is?
Any buildings older than that may not.
Okay.
But the newer buildings should have well, to some extent, provisions of the building code as it progress applied.
Okay.
And so that looks at the floor areas, looks at the height of the building, and then it enables us to advise and builders and architects and engineers on what sort of fire safety provisions needs to go into the buildings. And so if we can apply that across the country, then that should, at least avert the problem from the outset.
Okay. What about home? Say if I wanted to build a house for myself, a 3-bedroom. Do I need to see you about fire safety and things like that, or what happens there?
Yes, normally within the cities, they go through the approval process, the building board approval process, where standards are met, and fire service is part of that approval process, so it has to come through all the relevant agencies before it goes to the building board for approval.
Okay.
And we do have our input in there.
Okay. We're running out of time. Just one final question. Any one of you can answer that. There are sometimes reports that big fires that involve big infrastructures are normally deliberate for insurance purposes. Does that ever come to you?
I guess it's something that we are mindful of. But when an investigator goes out to investigate the fire, they are, as far as we want them to be, independent, and they have to be. Otherwise, it's not worth the effort.
Sure.
So the investigation would take its course, and we would talk to people, and we would look at burn patterns.
You haven't had any cases brought to you and proven so, and that kind of thing.
No.
At this point. All right, gentlemen, we are running out of time, so thank you very much for your time.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
I thank Chief Fire Officer Isaac Silas and Akia Koya from the Papua New Guinea Fire Service. If you see any suspicious fire or risk to the community, we ask you to call 110. That's all we have for you tonight. Thank you for watching. We'll do it again at the same time tomorrow night. Good night.